Hi, this is Bianca from Windyigarn, and today I'm going to show you how to apply your Nano Sponge Facial. You want your kit handy, you want a little container to be able to mix with, and you want a brush. Doesn't really matter what kind of brush you use, just as long as you're comfortable with it. You also want to make sure that you've got the appropriate aftercare to be able to use after your Nano Sponge Facial. And really, we suggest our aftercare kit, but if you're using another brand, make sure that there's no ingredients in there that are overly hydrating, like hyaluronic acid. In terms of our 30-day money-back guarantee, yes, we do have one. Yes, it's 30 days, and that starts from the date of purchase. It is also a prerequisite that you need to be using our aftercare because we know what's gone in it and we know it's not going to overhydrate your skin. The last stipulation of our money-back guarantee is that you participate in our walkthrough. Basically, what a walkthrough is, we have a video meeting between yourself and me, and I literally walk you through step by step on how to do your nano. Now, the main reason for that is because as much as we've put together this demonstration video for you, we don't know how hard you're pressing the sponge into your face, we don't know how deeply it's penetrated, and we don't know how long you've been applying the facial. So we need to make sure that you haven't overhydrated your skin and that you've applied it correctly for our money back guarantee. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so to start off with, we're going to grab part A. This is the one without the pump. And we're going to give that a bit of an open, and we're going to tip all of the contents into the container. So you can see it's a nice white powder. This is not choose your own adventure, guys. Please make sure that you follow the instructions so that you're doing it safely and also effectively. What we're going to do now is we're going to grab part B, and really, I'm going to show you the consistency that we're looking for here. But we want to give it a couple of pumps, and I'm going to go with my spatula one today. And you can see that that's going to go a little bit gluggy, a little bit clumpy, and so we want to add some more solution. We want it sort of like a paste consistency. And this is why I like little containers, because you can move it around a lot easier and a lot quicker. So just a pinch more. And this is really the consistency that you're wanting to mix your sponge extract with your part B solution into. The reason why I like spatulas is because you can literally grab that from there, and we're going to apply to our face. So the whole face is 20 minutes. It doesn't really matter whether you spend 5, 10, 15, and then all over again 20. It's really going to depend on what your skincare concern is, okay? So we're going to pop a timer on. Please do make sure that you pop a timer on for 20 minutes. And we're just going to start with the forehead today. Pop that down. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to just move the extract around a little bit just so that we can glide it around. So you can see that I've got a little bit on my hands, perfectly normal, and we're gonna start. We're gonna start from the top of the forehead. I like to start from the top of the forehead because then I can drag any remaining product to the rest of my face. So we're going to use circular motions. And at this stage, we're sort of pressing in quite firmly, but not harshly. So we're going to go down in our circular motions and then up again. And we're going to do this all across the forehead. If at any time you start to feel that that's getting a bit dry, the reason why we haven't used all of our solution is because we're going to keep adding as we're going. So make sure that you've done your circular motions across your forehead. I usually work out to the temples. If you've got tattooed eyebrows like me, you can put Vaseline over it, Bepanthen, whatever works for you. So once we've done our circular motions there, we're going to go up and down. So literally drag down and then go back up, move across, down, and then back up, and repeat that. Not as difficult, yeah? So if you have a lot of hyperpigmentation, or maybe you've got some deep wrinkles, darker spots, you know, patches and things like that across your forehead, you can actually work it a little bit more and go across ways. Same kind of concept, we're going to go across and then back and then move down so that we essentially get all the skin area. Now I do need to add a little bit more solution. Your hands will get mucky throughout this process. And I'm just going to move that around a little bit so I've got enough moisture so that I can actually move the particles across my forehead. Really the only way that you can cause damage, or the way that it'll be really, really uncomfortable, is if you're dry rolling, which we want to avoid, which is why we keep adding solution as we're going. So I'm going to do some more circular motions. I'm going to add the pressure now. And I'm just really making sure that I've covered the entire forehead area. And you can press harder. You can see how hard I'm pressing there. That's really, on the last couple of passes that you do this, that's the pressure that you want. So when we get questions around how hard do I press, this is why we do videos. We don't want any jagged motions. We literally want to nicely press and just sort of give the head a little bit of a massage. I'm getting a little bit dry, so I'm going to put some more solution on. And I'm going to finish off, just because my forehead is quite highly pigmented, by some up and down motions. And then I'm going to go diagonally. And I really feel like I've done my forehead now. You'll find that you'll get to a stage where it starts to get a little bit hot, and if it starts to get a little bit hot, or if it starts to get uncomfortable, it's time to move on to a different area. Alrighty, so we've done the forehead, now it's time to move on to the cheek area. So pop your part A and B mixture onto your cheeks. Same kind of concept, we're just going to move it around a little bit just so that we can glide it across the skin. And we get a lot of people with hyperpigmentation in speckles across their cheeks. We also get a lot of people with wrinkles around here and around the corners of the mouth. So I'm going to walk you through how to combat that. We're going to start from the temples, because that's where we finished. And we're just going to do our circular motions. The cheeks you can press a little bit harder on because they've got more give. I want to say they've got more fat, but that doesn't sound very polite. Nice circular motions across your cheeks. If you need any more solution, make sure that you do grab it. Again, no dry rolling. We've had a few people say, oh, it felt like shards of glass. It's when you're dry rolling that it'll feel like that. So I'm satisfied that that's everywhere. And what we're going to do, say for example, if you had hyperpigmentation on your jawline here, you can do this one of two ways. You can spot treat that first and then go over the cheeks as we go, or you can come back to it later. So what I suggest is that if you've got that deep sort of hyperpigmentation, or maybe you've got a acne scarring, pitting, that kind of thing, you really want to sort of go down and then up a few times, pressing quite firmly. You'll start to see my skin go quite red, which is very normal. We are penetrating sponge into our face, so expect to be a bit red. And just move up the cheek, finishing at that temple line in that upwards motion. I'm going to grab some more solution now. I'm going to check our timer. We're 7 minutes so far. Put some more solution around, and then I'm going to go down and up. Try not to add, it's a bit of a fine line, try not to add too much solution at a time. You want to be able to feel the sponge actually going into the skin, so it'll feel a bit gritty. It will not hurt. If it is hurting, you need to stop and add more solution. So we've done our up and down, we've done our sideways, and really we're going to do our diagonal now. And you can increase pressure at this stage. And then once you've done that, start to go over the sections where you've got a little bit more darker, or you've got a wrinkle there. For example, if you've got wrinkles across here, then just gently hold the side of your face so that you can get into the crease, and just do the up and down motion. And then you can finish that off. After you've done that about 10 times, do little circulars. If you had hyperpigmentation quite prominent on your cheeks, then give that a nice go over now. Pressing firmer as you go, but again, making sure that you do not dry roll. I've already got solution on my hands. The chin is quite an annoying area because a lot of people get acne on their chin, so you have acne scarring. And really the key to this is making sure that you press that little bit firmer. So you sort of want to be coming at it from about that firmness, that pressure, and you need to be working in circular motions all the way around. So because I get a lot of acne along here, I'll want to go all the way down. Circular motions, give it a few passes, and then we're going to go up and down. Yes, you will pull some funny faces when you do this, and that's okay. And then we're going to go across. Again, if you need more solution, grab it as soon as you start to feel dry. And really, you know, if you've got that deep pitting where you need to resurface the skin, or if you've got some really prominent marks, I would suggest that you do a once over. The harder that you press the sponge into the skin, the deeper it will penetrate and the better you will peel. But this is obviously going to come down to what your tolerance is, especially if you've never done this before and you don't really know what to expect in terms of feelings wise. You're going to have to maybe build up that tolerance in terms of that feeling of that penetration. Obviously I've done this more than a couple of times, so I'm quite used to being able to press quite firmly into my skin. And my skin responds quite well to it. All right, so we have 8 minutes to go and we still need to do the upper lip. We need to do the nose and underneath the eyes. So upper lip is probably 90% of our clients' pet peeve. It's a frustrating sort of pigment mustache, we call it, looking thing that you know, most people are not happy with. So I'm going to show you how to specifically target the pigment mustache. So pop your sponge on. You'll quite often hear me say sponge or mixture or solution. It is part A and part B mixed together. So we're going to put some solution on our hands and we're going to start off with some circular motions. You can just use one hand if you want to. increase the pressure. Okay, grab some more solution if you need to. Also try not to eat your mask. I'm going to start in the middle and we're going to press and we're going to drag out. And we're going to do that several times. You need to work up the lip as we go. So up and down. More solution. Going to finish off with some diagonal and then circular motion. This last pass over, you want the pressure to be quite firm. This is going to be the last time that you go over, so make sure it is nice and firm. Okay, so as I said, don't eat it. Have a cloth handy. So if you're like me and you've got some weird kind of spots of pigment, I have some that go up this way. Basically what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put some more solution on. And because I've already got some sponge sitting on the top, I'm just going to, mine literally comes from here and then it goes down and then it kind of goes jagged a little bit. So I'm specifically targeting that area at the moment. I'm going to go up, down. And I'm going to press firmer as I go. And then finish off with some circular. Okay, so let's move on to the nose. It's not, you don't, your mixture will get a little bit drier as you go, so it's not uncommon for it to start to go a little bit clumpy. Right, so really one hand for the nose, and we're just going to go up and then down. I've got plenty of solution there. If you get freckling on the nose, you're going to want to press harder on your second and third pass. And then I am going to grab some more solution because I'm going to go across the bridge of the nose. And we're literally going to start from the middle of the nose and we're going to go out and we're just going to do some very gentle to start off with, and then we're going to be firmer. Okay, so if you need some more solution, grab it. The rest of your face also is quite normal to start to feel a bit hot at the moment. So circular motions we're going to finish off with. If you've got enlarged pores, this is sort of an area where you want to go over a couple of times, because what will happen is we're resurfacing the skin and this will push everything out of the pores. So if that's a problem for you, do another pass. Okay. All right, we've literally got like 2 minutes to go. So we're just going to tackle under the eyes now. The eyes are the one area where you really need to be very careful. So we're going to add some more solution. And by the way, if you've noticed that I'm starting to go quite dry, that's very normal. If you've worked this facial into your skin, it will start drying out and you'll start to look, you know, a bit stiff in the skin. So we're going to start at the bridge of the nose and we're going to sweep out. I am actually going to grab some more solution at the corners. Bridge of the nose, out, come back in. And look, this is quite variable because it's going to depend on what, you know, if you've got hyperpigmentation there. I do because I have sunglasses that sit there, and obviously the cutting in causes the inflammation that causes the hyperpigmentation. So if you don't have an issue there, then you can just give it a bit of a once over, but if you do, then you're going to want to continue on. But we're not really pressing too firm, and I am going to grab some more solution. So we're just going to do circular motions now underneath the eye. Make sure you don't go too far up. I'm going to press a little bit firmer here, just because I know I've got hyperpigmentation there built up. And if you had creases here, then what you would do is you would help hold the forehead tight so that it pulls the skin away, and then you would go in and out on the wrinkle. And then you would finish over with your circular motions. So to finish off, circular motions under the eye. And if you had really prominent, you could go up and down, and then you could do your diagonal and then repeat your circular motions. However, I'm feeling like I have worked my skin enough, and if you followed along and if you've been maintaining the pressure that we've been talking about, when we're talking about pressure, for example, if I'm telling you that you want to do more pressure on the forehead, this is sort of starting, and then that is the pressure that you need to be using. On the cheeks, this is sort of starting, and then that is the pressure that you need to be using by the end of it. On the chin, that's sort of starting, and then that is the pressure that you need to be using after it, okay? So give your hands a wipe, and then our last step is going to be applying Part C, which is our hydrating mask. Alrighty, Part C time. So this is a hydrating mask. It's a bit of a creamy mask. And literally all we're going to do is we're going to pump it out. I prefer applying it like this. I just find it easier than using my hands. And really at this point in time, you don't want to be touching your face too much, because remember, you've just penetrated sponge particles into your face, so ground sponge. And that can get a little bit uncomfortable for the first couple of hours. Like, you'll feel the spikes in there. It's pretty normal to feel the spikes in there 2 or 3 days on average. We're going to apply a nice thick layer of hydrating mask. Now, one question I'm going to answer before someone sends us an email. Yes, we are applying a hydrating mask. Yes, we tell you afterwards in aftercare not to overhydrate the skin. What we're doing now is, because you will go quite red, you will go puffy. If you've gone really puffy, you can ice your face before you put the mask on, that's fine. But at the moment, we want to calm the skin down. We've just given it a pretty good workout. So we want to get some moisture back in there so that we don't shock. And so it's a little bit less uncomfortable. I'm going to apply the rest of this so you're not literally sitting there watching me put a mask on, and I'll be right back. Okay, so hydrating mask Part C, fully applied. You want to apply it thick. You can move it around with your hands, whatever you prefer. Hydrating mask is used specifically to calm down the skin and to basically bring down that redness and any inflammation that you have after your Nano Sponge Facial. You don't have to do it if you feel like you don't really like the feel of the mask or something, but it will calm down the skin and it will make you heal quicker. In terms of what to do next, we're going to leave this on for 20 minutes and then we're going to wash it off. I do suggest literally just standing under the shower and letting it drip off your face. Don't be doing rubbing motions or anything like that, because you will move the sponge particles in your face and it will be uncomfortable. From here, we're going to wash it off, and then if you're doing this in the morning or in the earlier part of the day and you jump in the shower in the evening, then you are literally, all you're going to do is you can cleanse your face. That is it. Don't add moisturizer. Please remember that this is not a chemical peel. We have penetrated sponge particles into our skin, which will loosen the bond between the outer layer and the under layer of the skin and essentially push the dead skin off, which means that you're gonna have really nice, bright and fresh skin. But you need to make sure that you don't overhydrate your skin in the next couple of days. We're seeing the best results when people don't use any moisturizer at all in the first couple of days of their peel. So tomorrow is day 1. The next day will be day 2, the next day will be day 3, and so forth. 3-4 days is usually when people start peeling, and then you can start using moisturizer. So in terms of aftercare, all we're going to be doing is cleansing the face twice a day, and then we're going to be leaving it alone. If you have oily skin, then you need to be making sure that you have corrected the oily skin component before you do the nano. Or if you're desperate to get into it, then make sure you keep the skin dry. This is absolutely crucial for the efficacy of the Nano Sponge Facial. You need to make sure that you keep the skin dry.